White South Africans are now given refugee status in the US, and as somebody who comes from a country that has been hosting white South Africans for the past decade now as they're seeking refuge, I just want to tell you, and you can ask Australians and Kiwis about this too, because white South Africans have been moving in massive numbers to Australia and New Zealand, so they know what I'm talking about. When white South Africans move to white majority countries, which the US is, they start thinking that because it's a white majority country, that it's a safe space to say inflammatory things about black South Africans. So just an FYI, get ready for that.
A small note to white South Africans who want to move to America as so-called refugees. The white American people will treat you exactly the same way that you treated white people fleeing from then Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. The way that you treated those people, white Americans are going to treat you exactly the same way. I was at those braais where you would call the Zimbabwean so-called refugees, when you'd call them wenwes. I used to call them that. You used to call them that because, when we were in Zimbabwe, when we were in Rhodesia, and you used to call them wenwes. The American white people are going to treat you in exactly the same way. There will be no difference. Yeah, you will be social pariahs.
So if you're in Cape Town and you want to move now to America, you're going to become a refugee, just let me know, please, because property prices are high here, hey, and we can look after your houses for free. We'll look after your houses while you just move there.
So Donald Trump just signed a new executive order allowing South African Afrikaners, quote unquote, white South Africans, to migrate to America because he doesn't like the fact the president out South Africa new land reform. He doesn't like it because the black South Africans can now take back what is rightfully theirs. Who is in his ears? On day one, he signed an executive order to get rid of black and brown immigrants. And in exchange, the white South Africans can come to America. Who is in his ears? Now, knowingly that America is built on black and brown people. So African American, do what South Africans are doing. Take back what is rightfully yours. Who is in his ears?
We don't want to move elsewhere.
So, President Trump is offering the European settlers from South Africa, also known as the Afrikaners, a golden ticket to come settle in America. Well, what are you waiting for? Pack your biltong, grab your voortrekker hats, and get out. We've waited long enough. We'll even help you pack. Unfortunately, you can't take the land with you. We're going to need that. This land belongs to the people who were here before you and will be here long after you're gone. But now the moment has come. Leave. You claim to be independent and hardworking. Prove it then. Go to America and see how well you do there as just another immigrant with no special privileges. Deep down, you know the truth. You stay in South Africa because you need us more than we need you. You cry about farm murders and reverse discrimination because you desperately need to believe that you're still the victims.
I know Trump is getting a lot of hate right now, but on behalf of my South African brothers and sisters, and on behalf of the continent of Mother Africa, I would like to thank President Donald Trump for his generosity and his foresight in resettling white South Africans in the United States of America because of the abominable way they've been treated. Let's get into it. South Africa is confiscating land and treating certain classes of people, aka white, very badly. It's a bad situation, a massive human rights violation. No. Who is going to tell this raging, thieving racist Donald Trump how white South Africans got this land in the first place? Who is going to tell him how, in a land that is 90% black, that white South Africans own 70% of the land? That's 70, you heard me right. or that white South Africans still hold on to the economic power that they controlled during apartheid. And that includes through their ownership of land, mineral resources, and in many other ways. Or the fact that white South Africans still today benefit from a privilege and economic power over and above black South Africans because of that systemic and structural racism. And how did they get that? By committing genocide of black South Africans, by killing black South Africans for black South African land, by raping black South Africans, pillaging, stealing, denying them justice and denying them equality to the present day. These are the people that Donald Trump is calling victims. And the human rights violations happens against black South Africans, not white South Africans. These white South African farmers even have the temerity to ask for compensation. People, let me understand this. So, you steal land from me, I take my land back, and you have the caucasity to demand for, complain about compensation. Ha! Jesus. Hey, listen. You should be happy that all South Africans are doing is taking the land back. That they are not demanding that you pay for the loss of generational wealth. That they are not demanding that you pay interest for all of the wealth that you have earned, you and your ilk, from sitting on their land. You should be happy, but you feel you're all that. The utter caucasity. I would strongly encourage these white South African farmers to pack up their bags, get the hell out of South Africa, because nobody asked you here, no one invited you here, and nobody dragged you and your forebears to South Africa in chains. So please, go. No one's going to miss you. Go become refugees in the United States of America, a land that belongs to Native Indigenous Americans and a country that was built on the blood, life, sweat, and liberty of black Americans. Go on, that's your modus operandi, to go where you don't belong and take what doesn't belong to you. Sharp, move. Sharp, move, and go from being a refugee to a naturalized American citizen like your fellow white South African Elon Musk, the real president of the United States of America. What are you waiting for? Trump has made room for you. He has spent the first few weeks of his presidency deporting thousands of migrants, many of whom have worked, lived, and paid taxes in the United States and committed no crime. But they didn't have the complexion for the protection. And the only basis for giving the white South Africans refugee status, but not these other migrants, is because the South Africans are white. Oops.
I would say you, Donald Trump, you are even worse because your forebears came to America.
That's right.
They found the indigenous Americans. They wiped them out. They killed nearly all of them.
Right.
Rene, we are living as a nation, and black and white, we are going to find solutions for our land question. So Donald Trump must leave us alone. Donald Trump must leave us alone. He must leave us alone, Kauri. When we were facing apartheid, when we were facing oppression,
Speak on it.
he was not here.
He wasn't.
He did not fight side by side with us.
No, he didn't.
And we were able, on our own, yes, with support of progressive forces in the world, to resolve the apartheid question. As far as I recall, Donald Trump was not around the negotiating table when we negotiated the end of apartheid.
So Afrikaners were at the US Embassy today, but I've got one question that the whole country wants to know. Why? Why were you guys at the embassy? Why were you protesting? Because nobody seems to really like we don't get it. Like I've seen the videos, I've gone to the comment section, and nobody knows why the hell y'all at the US Embassy. Donald Trump gave you the option of applying for refugee status in America. Like you guys got essentially what you wanted, right? So why protesting? Are you protecting the image of South Africa? I don't think so, because I saw some posters that kind of make guys, I don't know. I can't explain the story. Someone sent me a video and tagged me in one of the videos of the Afrikaners at the US Embassy. I don't know how to explain this. It's confusing. If any one of you, if you guys have taken a break from protesting at the US Embassy, if you can come into my comment section and explain to me why you are protesting, because I genuinely really want to know why. you were protesting? Please.
I am loving the way South Africa is clapping back at Elon Musk and Donald Trump with their whole refugee status thing for the Afrikaners. Honestly, it's some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. Straight after Trump offered this refugee status for white Afrikaners to go to the US, the Afrikaners in South Africa immediately said they don't want to leave South Africa. This is because they have everything they could wish for in South Africa. The majority of land and wealth sits with these Afrikaners who still hold on to it after the apartheid regime was brought down. And yet they complain about made up shit like land theft and wealth theft because they're scared of equality, true equality. I just love the fact that non-racist South Africans have come out in social media, people of all colors, to denounce these Afrikaners who have been spreading lies around the world, and now Donald Trump and Elon Musk are trying to, spread it even wider. The solidarity with each other and the community that's coming out of South Africa at the moment is something to behold. South Africa has been such a ray of hope in this darkness. Their ICJ case against Israel for their genocide, the solidarity they've shown with the Palestinian people, and now in this latest chapter, how they've dealt with Trump and Elon and these racist Afrikaners has been